But what's guys? What's the vibes? What's the vibes of the EuroLeague right now? We usually, I think we should start with that every podcast. What is the general vibe of last week, of this week?
That Zalgiris is leading the EuroLeague.
The TG Shores is cooking, taking over the league.
No more talks about the reviews. We were staying away from that. Now we're going towards these.
It's just we didn't have any
basketball
bad reviews except from this consecutive coaching challenge that we had in Monaco. Historical as well.
New.
Historical
history has been made.
At least that sounds like an NBA stat. I would tell you.
It would have been different. I don't know if a lot of people are aware that Sasha Obradovic took a challenge to ask for an unsportsmanlike foul.
Yeah.
So the challenge was rejected, but then Jordan Lloyd was sent to the free throw line, and instantly Thiago Splitter is asking for a challenge, to make it as a regular foul, non-shooting foul, and he won it. But when I thought about it, when we had this discussion, we would love to see the situation where, let's say, there's a coaching challenge, it is accepted, the situation is accepted, and let's say Sasha Obradovic, wins it and gets unsportsmanlike foul, and then Thiago Splitter is like, no, I don't like it. Coach challenge. Review your decision. That would be crazy. That would be nice. Yeah.
But I think for now, those replays are just a normality.
Yeah.
Part of the game that sucks. And just like the shooting fouls from the other half. You know there are going to be moments of this, and actually yesterday, like the first quarter of Zalgiris Maccabi had no replays, and we were like, wow, this quarter, so fast, such a fast-paced game, and it was so nice to see, but once second quarter started, the old stuff.
Talking about what's the vibe, I would say yesterday I noticed something interesting. Okay, so Zalgiris is on the top, but I just looked at 2 seasons ago, or 3 seasons ago now.
Martin Schiller?
2021-22 season. Zalgiris dead last at the bottom of the standings. Zvezda somewhere close, Panathinaikos somewhere close, Fenerbahce somewhere close, also in that bottom 5. Now we're talking about all these teams at the top, so it's sort of a redemption arc for all of these teams, how they rebuilt from their lowest points. And I just noticed this was an interesting fun fact.
So speaking of vibes,
season is long though.
Of course, no, I'm saying right now, right now how it looks.
Speaking of vibes, round 5 is a moment where a lot of overrated things happen. A lot of fans get hyped about the start of the season. We can all remember how hyped we were about Alba Berlin 2 years ago. They were like also 4-1 or something. So it's just be patient. Just be patient. It's okay. 5-0.
But we're here to talk about
but
what we see right now, and then I'm just doing that. I feel like it's an interesting fun fact to see those teams rising from the bottom. The biggest rise is from Panathinaikos, of course, who won the championship after that season. But yeah. I know what you're saying.
To me, fun and interesting is TG Shores and Paris basketball. I mean, Paris won against Monaco. TG Shores had 28 points, 10 assists in 29 minutes, 10 of 15 field goal shooting from the field. He hit his first free in the 5th EuroLeague game. He had the EuroLeague season high 38 BAR, and the most ridiculous stat is that through scoring and assisting, he created 53 points against Monaco. So this accounts for 61% of Paris total points against Monaco. And I've checked Bibolytics.com, and since Mykolas Stumbras introduced this points plus assists stat in his database, which happened 5 seasons ago, he's the first EuroLeague player to produce 37.8 points per game in the first 5 EuroLeague rounds. Wow. That's a ridiculous number.
Isn't it crazy the not shortest, probably, he's the shortest guy in the EuroLeague, but the other short guy, Facundo Campazzo, they're both leading in terms of PAR right now,
and
the EuroLeague.
And TJ Shorts and Carson Edwards are leading in scoring.
Yeah.
And they're both under 180. But the question that I had, since we have this brilliant mind in our studio, Augustus.
Bright mind, yeah.
Give us a
Brian,
defensive coverage suggestion, how to stop this freaking TJ Shorts, or shall we just play box and one all the time?
Teacher, can I go first? Can I ask?
Okay,
can I just be what is it? Sofa expert, something like that. I thought that everyone's defending him way too high up. Like TJ Shorts doesn't shoot threes confidently, or when he does, he shoots 1 for 3 this game and 0 for however many
8
attempts he took before. I just don't understand how you're not like just giving him more space and not letting him go around you with that first step. Of course, sometimes it's a switch situation, but I just feel like they're trying to defend him way too high up, and then he's not just the shortest guy in the EuroLeague. I think at least visually, he's the quickest one. So he gets around. He if you get help, then he kicks it out. But I just thought, give him some space. Let him shoot. Like, dare him shoot, and then see what happens.
Don't you think teams have already tried, like in 3 seasons, where he's like Champions League? I understand what you mean. Like, for example, yesterday Monaco were like trying to hedge him in the first quarter, then tried a little bit of switching.
Flat as well.
Basically everything you could have seen, because sometimes the coverage was just late. So, you just do what you can do in those situations. But to me, that speaks to TJ Short's greatness. Like, the ability to get to your spot, no matter what defensive coverage you see, is one of the greatest tools that a player can have. It shows, it speaks about your quality. And, he is the top EuroLeague scorer at the moment with 1 3-pointer made that he hit in this match against Monaco. So that's, to me, that just ridiculous. And how many times you have seen that? I think it starts to become an unstoppable shot of his, where he just drives inside and he does this little left-handed semi-hook shot, or how you want to call that.
Scoop layup, maybe you would call it.
Yeah, something like that. It's just basically unstoppable. You can't block it, because he just goes over his shoulder, and even at the size, 1 meter 75 centimeters, that shot is basically unstoppable, because he's also falling a little bit in behind. The degree of difficulty, one of the highest, but he's making that at such a high clip that it's just insane, really. And we've been trying to tell people about TJ Shorts from already, last seasons. Happy to see him ball out. And I was talking with a friend who played with him in Ventspils in his first year in Latvia, and he told me, like, yeah, TJ was always working after every game, basically almost every day after practice, he would stay with the coach to work on his individual stuff, to work on his shooting. So he's like deadly now from the mid-range, to work on just adjusting to Europe. And, you're seeing the results now. I mean, simply a master of stuff. And how to defend him? I really don't know. I mean, you need to try a couple of defensive things. Of course, it has to be a team effort. Maybe it has to be some kind of, zone defense that are, like, let's say, like box and one, some weird stuff. Because to me now it seems that whether it's drop defense, whether it's flat, whether it's hedge, he has the answer for everything. And even if you are going under on his pick and rolls, he will manipulate you to go to changing that defense. Like, there's a rescreen, and then you can go under a second time. Usually teams don't do that. So then it becomes drop or hedge, and then he knows what to do. So that's also, let's say, a proof of how good the Paris system is. So I don't know, but just keeping distance from him every time, I don't think that's going to work.
They're playing Alba Berlin next week, so maybe that's the game where we might see some weird things.
For sure.
We all remember that
For sure.
They made Mike James so nervous, so who knows? Maybe Israel Gonzalez will come up in
I
this
wouldn't
box and one
say
system.
made him nervous. He made him pissed off.
Pissed him off.
Yeah, annoyed. Yeah.
You wanted to add something, or you
About
were just
TJ?
like, yeah.
Not really.
Okay, that's good. And
I think he said
by the way,
everything.
we're all praising TJ Shorts, and he deserves all that love. And by the way, since I mentioned that, please show him love on social media. 1.7 thousand followers on Twitter. Are you crazy?
Yeah,
Are you stupid? And he's quite active over there, so
Okay.
show him some love on Instagram as well. But I just wanted to show some love to other players. Paris basketball is not only about TJ Shorts, and especially yesterday I loved Tyson Ward and his all-around game, especially his defense, his long arms, his deflections, him being active. Mika Jantunen to me is a discovery. I mean, great stretch for Paris basketball, having a solid season, 10 points per game, over 40% three-point shooting. And Kavarius Hayes doing Kavarius Hayes things when he was at his best in Zalgiris from the defensive standpoint, from being active over the boards and stuff like that. So kudos to Thiago Splitter as well. There were a lot of doubts before the season because he was trying to make a combination of what Thomas Isolo did last year, and he wanted to introduce some of his new things and try to make some mix of stuff. And there were people questioning if that's the right approach, but so far they're amazing. They beat the reigning EuroLeague champions. They beat the consistent playoff team, and all the 3 games that they lost, they were
super close.
Not bigger.
Right.
They lost not more than 5 points, I guess. So they're super competitive, exciting to watch, and wow, Paris basketball is crazy.
I think a couple of weeks ago I said like Paris is my top 3 team to watch in the EuroLeague this season. Let me change that to top 1, okay? Let me change that to top 1. Okay, Zalgiris is Zalgiris. You know, it's Lithuanian team. We are Lithuanian, so. But after Zalgiris, it's Paris.
And you know, Paris is actually sometimes tough to watch because now with this, the way we have those EuroLeague broadcasts, I usually never watch games live. And usually when I watch any other regular EuroLeague game, I can fast forward timeouts, free throw shots and stuff like that. And in a lot of games, I can fast forward when guys are bringing the ball over the half court. I tried it with Paris basketball, man. And you know, on EuroLeague TV, it's like 5 seconds.
Yeah. Oh, they're defending.
You click twice and you can saw 14-second game clock action. With Paris basketball, if you do it twice, you see the other team already starting the offense. So it's impossible to fast forward anything with Paris basketball because they are second highest paced team in the EuroLeague according to bballytics.com. They make 73 possessions per game. And for comparison, Zvezda has the lowest pace in the EuroLeague with 68 possessions per game, which means that Paris basketball is basically able to create 10-15 more points from those 5 extra possessions. And would you like to make your guess who's the number 1? It can be faster than Paris basketball.
In pace?
In pace.
Real Madrid?
Yeah, I was going to say.
Baskonia?
Okay, one more
From
try.
yesterday's game.
Okay, you're done. One more try.
Fuck,
But
man.
I think these were good guesses, actually.
Yeah,
Alba
I thought it was Real Madrid, to be honest.
Bayern Munich. Almost 76 possessions per game. Guys, 76.
They changed with Gordon Herbert a lot.
Yeah, and that's number 1 fun fact about Bayern Munich. The number 2 fun fact about Bayern Munich and German basketball is that BasketNews introduced social media channel for all German basketball lovers. So
In German,
basketnews.de on Instagram, on Twitter as well. And I saw that we just started like recently, and I saw that we have a lot of followers already. So this fun fact, a lot of other fun facts for German basketball consumers and German basketball fans on basketnews.de.
yeah,
Right.
BasketNews going global. I mean, actually going global means when you go like international with English content, but we're now going actually into
the
smaller,
niche.
smaller markets with the same quality of content, but in your native language. So
Yes, sir.
these kids are already dribbling the ball better than I ever had. 2 balls, too difficult.
You know
for me.
what? Because you've never attended Baltic basketball events camp.
Nope.
I think that's the main reason. That's the camp. These are the guys who will elevate your game to the next level. They're
Okay.
organizing camps in Lithuania. They offer best local youth coaches, skill coaches. They provide all the facilities. They accommodate you in the hotels, all-inclusive packages, including food, accommodation and stuff, and also all the facilities that you need. And they also invite they can invite individual players, national teams, basketball academies.
What about amateur team if there was an amateur?
Actually, I offer you to visit BalticBasketEvents.com.
Okay.
And I think that you will be able to contact the organizers of this camp, and I think that they might still be able to help you.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't have an amateur team. Nobody accepted me to the team because I suck. So that's why I was asking. Maybe I can get some individual practices first.
Exactly. Start
and
from
then
yourself
get to that
first.
level. Yeah.
But I think it's more about the kids. If you have a kid that plays basketball, then you want him to have some fun. You want him to get better.
So you said this is in Lithuania, but it all is happening in English, as I understand. So it's not just offered to all the Lithuanians.
Yeah, exactly.
For the whole Europe.
They're inviting guys from all Europe because Baltic Basketball Events, they worked with delegations from over 50 different countries, including Belgium, China, Finland, Sweden, Norway, England, Turkey, Brazil, and others. So, and they have a experience of organizing those events for more than a decade. And I saw that one of the features, if everything clicks, they can even invite you or pick you up for the Zalgiris game in the EuroLeague. So, all-inclusive package.
Just need to show up, come to Lithuania, and enjoy the experience.
But let's go local right now, actually, with another surprising team to start the season.
Really?
Zalgiris Kaunas.
If I was Rytas, I would say they won who they were supposed to win against.
4-1.
They really did.
Yeah, I know. That's what I'm saying.
I expected
they literally did
this kind of start. Like that Olympiacos game away, winning in Piraeus is never easy. You know that loss is kind of, it sucks, but you want to win every game, but most of the teams lose there. Now they have won against teams who they were supposed to win. And yesterday they took care of the business, I thought. Maccabi is are in terrible conditions, to be honest, with injuries, with situations like not all players practicing together. Sabin Lee just joined the team, what is it, like 2-3 weeks ago? He has barely practiced with them. And
he basically practiced on the eve of the game or basically on a game day in the shoot-around because he stays in Belgrade because that's what he signed for and this is the condition in his contract. He also can leave the club wherever he feels that things are getting worse. So, there are a lot of conditions in his deal with Maccabi. And, Maccabi has to respect his decision. That's what they signed for. Even though Katash had some
he's like he left the NBA, but he's still playing like a NBA regular season. No team practices, just games.
Come on, don't disrespect the NBA like that. The way Sabin Lee is now, in Maccabi, the conditions are like an amateur league basically. You practice for one time, and then you play a game, and then you have he's not.
He might find a job in Belgrade, I guess.
Like a part-time job.
Like individual player development coach.
Yeah.
I know.
Youth coach. Yeah.
I think he's working with a private coach or something. Like at least in Turkey, he did that. Like even in Turkey, he was practicing with the team, but he did some extra work in Turkey. So I think he's really focused on returning to the NBA.
Sabin Lee is a great player, but the situation is horrible.
Exactly.
And you could feel it on the court. I mean, Maccabi was dysfunctional offensively. To me, Maccabi, there's a lot of what says about Maccabi is the off-ball movements, their offensive system, also defensive system. But when you don't have guys like Tamir Bled, Jokubaitis, Gabriel, when you have Sabin Lee in Belgrade, it's impossible to create any chemistry, to train any kind of off-ball movement. And you could see that with Sabin Lee, even though he was productive in scoring, the flow of the game stops. And it's not the Maccabi you usually see. So I think that was the main problem, one of the main problems for them yesterday.
But kudos to Zalgiris and their coaching staff. Once again, a great game plan. Ignas Brazdeikis mentioned that after the match in the post-game interview. He said that our coaches do a phenomenal job preparing us for the games. We executed that, and you could see that in the first quarter. Maccabi finished with 3 made shots out of 15, 6 turnovers. Zalgiris had 6 assists and only 1 turnover. And basically what Zalgiris did, their game plan was, switching a lot. So this whole beautiful Maccabi offense that you see when Tamir Blat is also playing, because he just sees the passes that few people in the EuroLeague do. So without him, with Zalgiris switching, with Zalgiris helping off Jalen Horde and others, it stopped the whole flow. In Maccabi's offense, it was pure ISO basketball, one-on-one. It did not work. Maccabi had -6 efficiency after the first quarter as well. Zalgiris had 40. So it was a great game plan. And basically now with John DiBartolomeo, with Sabin Lee in the perimeter, with Zalgiris size, they could just play one-on-one, look for a matchup, favorable matchup near the paint, play back to the basket, force Maccabi to double, and look for great shots. And they made some threes, and that was a great start that Zalgiris needed, and that made the game much more easier in the second half.
Basically, I thought they won the game in the first half. Then what happened in the third quarter, it felt like, oh no, now we're going to see the reverse comeback story of what happened with Virtus, where Zalgiris won. Because the lead was probably down to like 10 points at some point, if I remember correctly. Maybe.
Yeah, 9 points. Actually, 9 points.
9 points even.
Yeah,
so
it was single digits for once.
So I definitely was like not convinced that the win is in the bag yet. But I mean, both teams were playing not that great. Let's be honest. In the second half, I mean, neither of the teams were playing.
I'll be honest. I was watching Paris basketball in Monaco in the second half. While I was in the gym because not the prettiest game to watch. But
I wish I couldn't. I wish I could do that.
Yeah, but yeah, Zalgiris is great. I just have a question. I don't know if you guys already mentioned that or if you already heard this comparison, but there was this moment. First of all, a throwback to this. Did you see the wall thing in new LA Clippers gym? Which is hilarious.
Yeah.
KD missed two free throw shots because he saw this wall of fans doing this stuff, and it really impacted him.
Booker also said something.
Man, how silly is that? Yeah. It's just stupid. But I saw a different wall in Kaunas. I mean, Sabin Lee, I was surprised at first that Dovydas Giedraitis, the best on-ball defender of Zalgiris, was
the best player of Zalgiris right now.
John DiBartolomeo in the beginning of the game. But in the second half, he was more on Sabin Lee. And, it's hard to stop Sabin Lee. He has a great first step. And there was this moment when Sabin Lee tried to go right, and it looked like as a nice corridor. I don't know what happened, but like this, Dovydas Giedraitis steps here, and there is the wall, and Sabin Lee just cannot go anywhere into the paint. And, combined, Dovydas Giedraitis was already showed a lot of flashes as a great on-ball defender last season, containing guys like KP, Mike James, a lot of other premier scorers. But watching him score like that, of course, it's not sustainable. His numbers will decrease, but he's doing great all around. I just thought that, does he remind you of Thomas Walkup? Do you see a lot of Thomas Walkup in his game?
Much more offensive potential if you're comparing to Thomas Walkup. In terms of defense so far, yeah, I mean, he's looking like one of the best on-ball defenders, like you just said. And actually, the body-wise, his height is almost the same.
He has also long arms.
He's also quite like built in a nice way. Like he has a good body to defend the physical guards.
Of course, like Walkup is, and his muscles are on another level.
Of course, that's the Texan muscle.
But that might create that gap. From an offensive standpoint between Walkup and Giedraitis, because those muscles don't help you to shoot the basketball, that's for sure.
That's also skill-wise. And actually, remember Thomas Walkup when he came into the league with Zalgiris, he was, maybe a small forward?
Wing player.
Yeah.
Two or three.
Šarūnas Jasikevičius made him into a guard, and he had to adapt a bit more. And here we have Dovydas Giedraitis, who's been playing as a one as well in his youth career, as 1 and 2 now, combo guard. So I feel like he's much more, he has a much more offensive potential. He sees the people to pass the ball to better, and he definitely.
I don't know about that. I'm not sure.
Well, okay, maybe not better, but he sees he has some passing vision. Plus, he definitely shoots better. Like
that's the thing.
That's number one.
The number one problem with him in the EuroLeague was that he was not making 3-point shots, and he was hesitating a lot. For example, in his first season, he was shooting 14% from free. That's ridiculous because
how many shots?
Not too many, 16 games, so probably not too many. But in Spain and just in Lithuania in general, he was known as a really good shooter. For example, in Lietkabelis and Eurocup, he was making 40% of threes on 3.7 3-point shooting shot attempts. And in Spain and Estudiantes, he had one crazy season, of course, with only 7 games shooting the ball 64%. The next season, 16 games, 37%. So he can shoot. That, that's his advantage over Walkup. And what he reminds me of Walkup, that he's also this, how to call him. If you ask him to go through this wall, he will do it. Mm-hmm. That was the thing with Thomas Walkup. That's the thing with Dovis Giedraitis. You will never hear him complaining. He will do whatever you ask, and that's what Thomas Walkup had, and it helped him a lot. To me,
the most telling moment that I saw from Zalgiris game in that second half, Dovis Giedraitis, like I don't know how you say this move is when you you put the ball forward kind of in front of you, and then you catch up with it, and he got an open layup, and it was a great moment. The whole arena is hyped. This first thing he does straight away to the defense, like assignment, pressure from full court actually. So I was like, damn, this guy, he just scored another bucket and he's been scoring this whole game, but he's so on it mentally that he needs to now defend this inbound,
No Sally, no nothing.
No, no flexing, nothing. Just.
But have you seen his percentages at the moment?
Insane.
74 from 2, 65 from 3, 80 from the free throw line. He's guarding the best player on the other team, and he has made 9 of the last 10 3-pointers in the EuroLeague.
Stop the count. Stop the season. Give him a new contract.
Early MVP? I didn't see him like we made the survey.
Nah.
That's
okay.
That's a reach.
Okay. I wanted you to stop me, okay, at some point.
We're going to talk about these contracts, top 10 EuroLeague contracts, most overrated players, but I'm so horrible with finances. I have no platforms where to put my money that I have not much of. Do you have anything to offer?
You don't have where to put that money where Crvena Zvezda is paying you?
I have nowhere to put it.
I have a great offer for you or anybody who makes over 2 million euros per year, actually, because there's a great financial platform that will help you to distribute that money in different currencies, in different accounts, and just in general will make banking easier for everyone, for you, Gytis, or for Mr. Mike James, or for any other EuroLeague star, and of course, our highest paid podcaster, Augusto Shulowski.
Wow.
You know that? You got shocked for a fact. I'm speculating.
Are we sure?
I'm speculating.
Are we sure?
The fun part is that you can win a €100 award with Genome actually, because they're running this not a lottery. What would you call it?
So you're making your banking experience easier, and you can also win something?
Yeah, you can if you create an account. You get a physical card, virtual card, doesn't really matter. And all you need to do is to make a purchase of €60 using that Genome card. Then refer 2 friends to sign up to Genome using your referral link. And then they just have to follow Genome on Instagram. Actually, not that many steps and not that difficult.
You can win €100, and the more times you actually do it, of course, you don't need to, get the card for another time, for a second time. But every time you make a purchase for €60, and you do those
entry,
you do those steps, you get another entry, making your chances of winning those €100 higher. So why not take advantage of that today?
Yeah, and according to sources, Genome will select 2 winners each month, and the contest runs until November 30. So you still have plenty of time to redeem your rewards.
So this month and then the next month. So get on it. But to be honest, who do you attribute all of this to? More to the player or to the coach who gave the right conditions? What do you think? Because I feel like last season, for example, with still with Maksvitis, Giedraitis was playing. He was getting the minutes. He was used as the defensive sort of stopper. But I didn't think that the freedom to attack or the encouragement to attack was there from that coach. And I feel like with Trinchieri, he probably just sat down with him in the summer and was like, man, you can score and you gotta score. You gotta go for it.
I think that's one of the biggest differences between the old Zalgiris with the previous coach and the one with Trinchieri. He instills the confidence in his players. He pushes them forward. He encourages them. You made a great reminder. Dovydas Giedraitis was not even looking to shoot when he was wide open in some closeout situations. Now, yesterday, and it's been less than one calendar year. Like we're still talking about the start of 2024 and 2024 end of October. Now I saw Dovydas Giedraitis yesterday with Silvan Francisco not playing to his levels that what we've saw so far. Dovis was with the ball in the end of those games in the last couple of minutes, playing those slip screens, trying to get inside the paint. This is a ball handling situations. This is advantage creation. We are not talking about using the advantage that others created. So it's a huge growth by the player, of course, but as well, I think the coach had an immense impact for this.
Keep on grinding.
So Dovis is obviously one of the biggest early season surprises in the EuroLeague. We did this segment in our Q&A session last week, but Augustas was not there, and he has his top 3 prepared for you today.
You know what's crazy? That we already talked about number 1. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Number 1.
We spent the last good 5 minutes talking about number 1, and I had Dovydas Giedraitis for sure, and all those stats we just mentioned.
Who else surprised you?
What?
Who else surprised you?
Asvel being 2-2, playing some, I think, nice basketball, and of course, Theo Maledon. They looked, I think, solid, although their start of the season had a pretty, let's say, convenient schedule. But they were competitive in all those games. They won twice. Their players that they imported from the NBA looked solid as well. And Theo Maledon, we mentioned Dovydas Giedraitis. Theo Maledon is putting up crazy numbers. So I don't know if you noticed that, but I think Pierrick Popé also deserves some credit for how he has set up that team.
A lot of credit.
It's just a different picture of what we were used to seeing with Asvel, and it's actually refreshing because before it was, they're playing Willerban. Okay, so the other team will just win by 15 or 20. Let's not even tune in that game. Now it's interesting to see their matches.
And Theo Maledon is a good example of how should some EuroLeague teams approach the markets. Especially right now, the market is super dry. There are like 5 EuroLeague teams in the market looking for a guard, and there are a lot of borderline NBA players who are not even looking at Europe. They do not want to come there. So it's hard to find them replacements or upgrades. But in the summer, we had the situation where a lot of people are just overpaying a lot of guys, current EuroLeague players. But here, there's talent in G League. There's talent in the NBA, on the bench. A lot of DNP guys that, still they're quite young. They have their own limitations in the NBA, but in Europe, it's a different basketball game. So it's a great pickup by Asvel.
For sure, but at the same time, you're seeing these now situations where Madrid, Milano, Barcelona, Zalgiris, they're all looking
Maccabi.
for a guard, Maccabi, right? And you've heard more rumors than me that a lot of NBA players and borderline, especially NBA players, they don't want to come to Europe. Basically, even stories where if an agent offers a European team, some guys just even change agent. Like stories crazy like this one. So it has a lot to do, that Americans, of course, want to follow their NBA dream. At the same time, they don't know enough about the EuroLeague, I think. So it's also a brand question. It's also about how those players, I don't know, how to introduce them to the EuroLeague, how to tell them that it's also a great option, that you can make money and all that stuff.
I mean, if you don't know about EuroLeague, it means that you're super narrow-minded. We had a lot of examples. We have guys like Jabari Parker, you know, big NBA names that succeeded, that they told their story about the EuroLeague. We have guys like Mike James for years in the EuroLeague.
You're not looking at the right examples. We have guys like Yabusele who played in Europe. Okay, he earned it maybe Exum. Yeah, Dozier. I mean, a lot of guys came back. Actually, a video is coming out today about this topic, so let's just leave it at that.
Okay,
leave it at that.
Okay.
So number 3?
Yeah, I had Giedraitis as well and Maledon, and number 3 was a collection of things, but I thought, and actually we've talked about this, like TJ Shorts was not a surprise for me. Just like Zalgiris 4-1 start, I wouldn't say is a surprise, but TJ Shorts actually being the top scorer of the EuroLeague is a surprise for me. So, but at the same time, we have already talked about it, and my last thing was just basically Jalen Hort and from Maccabi. He had a great season in EuroCup. He has a great start of the season. At the moment, for Maccabi, he's averaging almost 14 points, 5 rebounds. Great defensive player. Okay, Zalgiris yesterday were playing a tactic where we just backed off, invited him to shoot because he's not a great three-point shooter. He has attempted
3 3-point shots before
yesterday.
His NBA average was 22%, NCAA 23. I didn't check his EuroCup numbers, but I believe that he was not consistent shot maker.
Anyway, just a great defensive player that I think will be interesting to a lot of EuroLeague teams during this season or in the off-season just because of the Maccabi situation. He can guard basically 1 through 5. In the games, he's often guarding the ball handler, like starting with Ife Lundberg. Yesterday, he was guarding Sylvan Francisco. Often, then Maccabi can switch, and then they don't have a disadvantage under the basket because, like, for example, against Tyreek Jones in one game against Partizan, Jones tried to post up, and Tyreek is a strong guy, and he just couldn't do anything. So I really like what Hort has been doing, and it will be interesting to see if he can keep these numbers up.
Theoretically, Hort is a 4-man.
Theoretically, but on defense, he's one of the few players in the EuroLeague that can
that's
guard.
A great thing, you know, that you can add to his resume. But I think that, you know, given the fact that we have also a drawer market for foreman, for stretch for, okay, he cannot stretch the floor that way, but at least, you know, to cover this position, I mean, I think Hort has a lot of potential. He's still young. Who knows, maybe he will develop his three-point shot, because I checked his EuroCup numbers. In his first season with Hapoel Tel Aviv, he attempted 3 3-pointers in the entire season. Didn't make a single one. In the second year, he was 5 of 11. So he's still very young. And, you know, that's the reason why he's not in the NBA. He's undersized and he couldn't stretch the floor. But here, with his versatility in defense, and also, you know, he's producing great numbers offensively, 14 points per game, 53% from 2 after these 2 3-pointers he made yesterday in Kaunas. He's shooting threes 38%, 5 rebounds per game. He's doing really good job in Maccabi Tel Aviv, and he's a great guy. We met him behind the scenes of Zalgiris Arena yesterday. I actually forgot the fact that he played for a French national team at the youth level, and he was at the camp before Paris Olympics, because he's French American, but his parents. His dad was playing basketball, and when he was playing basketball in France, he was born somewhere in Le Havre or somewhere like that. So that also helps him for his future, because he's not considered as an American player. So a lot of Spanish team offers might pop out in the upcoming future.
And I can see, basically, just one last thing quickly, I can see some EuroLeague teams playing him at the 5. Why not? With his athleticism, with his size, that eliminates the problem of shooting if he does not develop that.
Exactly. You know which team has problems with a 5-man right now?
Oh, I know.
Okay, which team? Your team. You're them
Wait
bastard.
a second.
You're the last
This is
hope.
black and white.
Gidis, can you spell red?
Can you change it? We have
LSTER.
red. We have red one. Red sweater from BasketNews.
So
shop,
what?
actually.
You want me to be the correspondent of Crvena Zvezda from now on? Something like that.
Exactly.
No, it's
Just your thoughts, your vibes about Crvena Zvezda right now.
Well,
So Serbian media can actually do something with it.
well, let's say they lost by a big margin, but that wasn't the team that won the previous 3 games. You know, that was a different team. They were missing a couple of guys that are probably the biggest impact players for that team. So
Quoting the Rytis Wisniauskas right
doesn't
now.
matter.
Doesn't matter. They
I
still
know.
lost.
I actually, that's where we should start. Rita's prediction is still alive, right?
What was his prediction?
They'll win 1 game in the next 5 games. This was before
After
Fenerbahce game.
After 3 games.
Okay.
Was it?
Or after 2.
No, after 2, because it was before Fenerbahce game. It was after the
okay.
2-0
Okay.
start, right?
All right.
So what? Now they were 3-0. Now they lost 2. So how many more games they need to lose?
2.
For Rita's prediction, 2
2
more
next
games.
week.
Yeah.
And they play Zalgiris away and Pana at the home.
So his prediction still alive. My prediction about Monaco winning the next 5 games and being 7-0 or something like that is completely dead. So Ritas was right there. In terms of the game, I'll start not from the game, but from the broadcast when I turned it on. It's something about the commentator, Joe Arlukas, how he calls himself, or Arlauskas, how we would say it, because he has Lithuanian roots, you know. He calls the team that we're talking about Crvena Zvezda. He calls Dejan Davidovac, he calls him Davidovic. I just thought I need to point out, like, for a veteran commentator, I mean, maybe it's time to learn to pronounce these things, because it's just, my ears were bleeding with this every time he was like Crvena Zvezda, Davidovic. I'm like, oh my god, like, what is going on? So
just say the Red Star if that's so hard.
If it's too difficult, but yeah.
You know, this advice actually could serve a couple more people.
Okay.
In Lithuania as well.
Okay. Next thing he also said was that although Real Madrid is 2-2 right now in the EuroLeague, you know they will be at the top of the standings in a very short period of time, something like that. That's not what I feel like. I don't know if in a very short period of time they'll be at the top of the standings. I don't feel that from that team at the moment. I'll talk about the winners first.
I mean, he's a former Real Madrid player,
I know.
legend, so you know
There
that's
is
why.
a bit of a bias, and he lives in Madrid, I believe. So obviously,
A little bit.
He calls only Madrid games, I guess.
yeah,
In the EuroLeague.
and Final Four sometimes. So yeah, so that's.
And you guys say we are biased, and they say that we are biased. Come on. Okay, get this.
Yeah. So yeah, they're 2-2 in the ACB, 3-2 now in the EuroLeague. I don't know. They felt like it was more of Real Madrid this game against Zvezda. Of course, Zvezda was very different. It was probably easier for them to play this Zvezda on defense because of the problems at the 5 position at the moment. So okay, Joel Bolomboy is out. Coach Sfairopoulos decided to play Uroš Plavšić, I'm not sure. He's a like 2 meters 16 centimeters center who doesn't shoot. He plays inside mostly. He's not that fast on like lateral quickness. I'll put my basketball expert glasses on. He also is like that when he doesn't shoot, that means he's in the paint on offense, and Walter Tavares just stays at home, and then the rim protection is there. You cannot penetrate. Isaiah Kanan tried to go in a few times. Cody Miller-McIntyre, not a great shooter from 3. He sometimes pulls up from the midi, but when he tries to go in, there's Walter Tavares. You substitute Walter Tavares, there's Serge Ibaka, 2 of the greatest probably rim protectors in the EuroLeague right now. So that lack of shooting big that Bolomboy was for that team, huge problem.
Let me just say that without players who can shoot from outside against Real Madrid defense, it's pretty hard to play, because they're one of those teams that if there is a guard that does not shoot, Walkup, Nick Kalatis, Cody Miller-McIntyre, they will go under every screen. So basically your pick and rolls, well, they create little to nothing. And they started out with Cody Miller, Isaiah Kanan, Nikola Kalinic, Mike Daum, and Plavsic. And that lineup just did not basically create anything in the start. And Zvezda got going just way later with Jago, Milos, Rokas, and Mitrovic. And you can see a lot more of offensive power there. But without Nedovic and Bolo Boy, especially without Bolo Boy, that team, it's not... You can't judge that team, I would say.
Yeah.
Because they were already lacking, in my eyes, the power forward, and now they got Filip Petrushev there. We'll talk about him a little bit later.
Who can also play the 5.
Exactly, but with Bolon Boy, without Bolon Boy, it's
he was a glue guy
story
in defense. I mean, with Bolon Boy on the court in the first 4 games, with him being healthy, Zvezda outscored their opponents by 22 points per 100 possessions, according to Bibalytics. By the way, Nedovic's absence was also important because he was making plus 20 impact in 100 possessions, so that's huge. But Bolon Boy, I mean, he was on my early MVP ladder. You know, the way he started the season, he to me, he was the main reason behind this great Red Star start. And with him on the court, defensive rebounding improves by 12%. 3-point shooting of the opposing team drops by 4.5, which also shows that you can switch with him. He can defend the perimeter. 2-point field goal shooting drops by 3%. And with him off the floor, Zvezda defense gets worse by 16 points. So his impact is huge. And I don't know, I didn't see any official reports yet. I mean, thank God it's not a serious injury.
Yeah, that's what I'm reading right now.
The initial rumors were like he might be,
out for the season or something.
Exactly. But now, if we rely on those Serbian media reports, he should be out for 4 to 6 weeks. But they already got Filip Petrushev.
Halloween is coming. I don't have a costume. I heard shop.basketnews.com is running a Black Friday sale right now. Woo-hoo! And for basketball fans, that's the #1 place to go and get some merch.
40% discounts on our shop. Whether you like our merch or... It's also a great early Christmas gift idea because we have a lot of unique stuff. You probably noticed some of that stuff during our pod. This one is my personal favorite. 50, just a 50, right? And this nice guy over there also.
Who's there? Is that Ataman there?
Yeah. Nah, it's not Ataman. It's somebody else.
Someone who looks like Ergen Ataman doing the Ergen Ataman celebration.
From what I heard, according to sources, the winners usually wear it. So that's this one for winners, this one for record breakers.
Okay.
That's the winning Sally.
Yeah.
So early Black Friday sale on shop.basketnews.com.
Visit right now.
Minus 40%.
And the latest rumor is that Bismack Biyombo is on their radar. And according to, I think, Telegraph and some other Serbian media, they even presented an offer already. From what I heard, Biyombo has been attracted by the EuroLeague teams for years already in the last couple of off seasons. But his desire was always to stay in the NBA. He even have front office offers already, and in general there is big hesitation in his mind to come to Europe. As you mentioned, nobody wants to go to Europe, and especially a player of his resume with other future opportunities in other basketball positions. So right now there's a big hesitation, and whether it's Zvezda or any other EuroLeague team which thinks of him, at the moment the move is very unlikely. Maybe it will be more likely if he don't get any NBA opportunity in the upcoming 2-3 months. But so far, it's less likely that he will go to Europe. But from what I heard, that Red Star has a lot of money to make a big transfer. And this rumor came out even before Petrushev's loan agreement. So it will be interesting to see what they're going to bring to kind of cover Bolombo's absence, but maybe just in general to improve their front line. That would change whole picture of Red Star.
Do you like the fit of Bismack Biyombo? If that was the case, would you like that? Because for me, it's not a great option in my eyes. A non-shooting undersized center who, okay.
But you have already... I would
Undersize
actually
is not a
see-
problem in EuroLeague, I think, with
Yeah.
his size.
But when you go against Tavares, you think he...
No, I mean, matchup-wise, I mean, then you put Petrushev, for instance. Or you mean just in terms of size? I think his size is
size-wise.
okay.
With Biyombo and Biyombo, it would be a solid center
With Biyombo,
rotation.
for sure. I'm talking if Biyombo doesn't come back for a while and you
Yeah, but
only
let's
have...
agree that it's
His
impossible
injuries
to find a good
is
replacement.
what, like
1 month?
1 month?
Okay, 2
Yeah.
months. Let's say 2 months.
Oh, yeah, okay, 2 months maybe it's...
And
it's-
let's
it's a
agree,
longer
he's
time.
irreplaceable guy at the moment.
Yeah, that's
In
that's
October,
true.
there's
You
no
cannot
chance. So
replace
at least you have to cover his rim protection, rebounding and stuff.
Screening
Yeah.
by Biyombo, just that stuff. But what if they sign a player profile that Biyombo represents, Bolomboy comes back, he's back to that shape, and now they have Petrushev at the 4, who can actually play at the 5, and exactly the type of player that you need against those big guys. Obviously, Bolomboy now can stretch the floor, but a shooting big, the type of Smilagic, what he did to Tavares, and basically that pick and pop ability. You can counter Tavares standing in the paint. So
Yeah, when they played Mitrovic at the 5, they literally did that. They had someone who can shoot from 3, pick and pop situations, and Tavares is not as... but that's the thing. They only played Mitrovic when Ibaka was on the court. Instead of... They kept like matching size for size with Plavšić. And I thought that was probably, not the
Mitrovic
right...
is not a guy who
He's a 4, really.
Shoot. Yeah, but he can really shoot from outside.
He's not like a... He's more like a mid-range shooter, to be honest.
Exactly.
Yeah.
He hasn't attempted a 3 this season yet. But, if Zvezda really has all that money, if they make a nice signing, all our talks about how they're, I think I said like they're collecting a team like they're making a team like in a fantasy manager. Now Petrushev signing, I really like that. I think that's a great fit. And if they sign a center to strengthen their rotation, that becomes a really dangerous team that I can see going far this season.
And in this game, just to finish up on this game, they shot horribly from 3. Actually, all the guys that you expect to make the shots, they all missed their shots. Mike Daum, 0-2, Cannon, 0-3, Miller McIntyre, okay, not necessarily a shooter, but still took 2 threes, missed both. Milos Teodosic only made 1 3-pointer, so 18% from 3 against Real Madrid. You cannot win this game.
Yeah, huge win for Madrid and for Chus Mateo, especially with all the rumors around his being on the hot seat. Did you have anything to add?
Facundo Campazzo is a magician on the court who is just incredible to watch. I mean, Lionel Messi of basketball, Argentinian.
That's a nice
How many
comparison.
nutmegs yesterday?
3, I think, right?
All in 2 quarters.
Between the legs of opponents. Crazy.
3 times. And that's not only, that's not a dribble that some players do, like going in the half court, just dribble the ball between the opponent's legs and continue the fast break. That's 3 passes. 2 of them were successful. Those were assists. And just incredible shape that he's on right now.
Just a great time to plug our BasketNews Fantasy, where you can have Facundo Campazzo and probably win the league if you have a draft league. And if you have him, you're the winner, because his PIR or probably fantasy points too were incredible these past few games.
Don't tell me about fantasy, man. I had Chimo Moneke as my captain yesterday. He had minus PIR, man.
Did you text Chimo already?
Nah, I'm just...
Or just because...
That's when I'm pissed, I'm not texting anybody.
Right.
I'm not Serbian or Greek way when my life is ruined by some comments or predictions. I'm just texting and threatening people and stuff like that. My anger is different.
I hope you have Sasha Vezenkov.
I don't, but I have Maledon, so I even have to put David Lighty today in my starting 5.
I wanted to say that, like, Theo Maledon, you know how it was, I think, or with my videos maybe. Like, we would do a good video about one team, and then the team would immediately lose.
Not perform, yeah.
And I wanted to say the same thing about Theo Maledon. We spoke about him in Asheville, and they're playing in Barcelona. Away game today. That's usually...
Please not today.
It's
not today, man.
It's a hard play, it's a hard game to play.
Round, bro.
Let's.
tell you.
I'm really interested to see if Malden can keep that up. I'm not expecting big things, but hey,
Talking
we'll see.
about comments that you just mentioned, that people ruin people's days with comments, and I saw some comments that I really enjoyed, and that was on the Give Me Control episode of Partizan Virtus game, and on that play that was the most talked about. Everyone there seemed like they were like, no, you know what? This one call or non-call on Ife Lundberg's layup attempt, that's not what cost us the game. We lost the game fair and square. And seeing this from Partizan fans, I was like, okay, I'm pleasantly surprised.
Okay.
People are...
Did he ignore just 95% of the comments
No,
under that video?
Go and check it out. I mean... Maybe
So there were no comments that were saying that we got robbed and finally someone.
No, there were comments that where was this video about Zvezda
Last week.
and then I just put the link to the article that we actually did on that game. So
And it was one of the most clicked articles that we had on BasketNews.com. And
Really?
Todd did an amazing analysis of that game.
And
Todd is great.
Analyzing those mistakes. So yeah, Todd is great, and that's the greatest thing about Give Me Control, that we now have it weekly, whether it's an article or video that we had for the first time this season. It's a weekly thing, and it's another extra feature that Beyond Plus members gets this season among all the other good stuff that we're doing on, bringing the community on a Discord
there are
channel.
new comments. All of them are saying they
I
stole
told
the game.
you, bro. I checked them before the pod.
Okay. Before there were different comments.
Hey, and by the way,
like-
we have some great offers for new Beyond Plus subscribers at the moment. Can you imagine that 2.4 euros per month, the starter pack that we
I could
offer.
imagine, yeah. That sounds
29
pretty
euros
reasonable.
per year. That's a great offer that we have for you if you didn't join our community yet on basketnews.com/plus.
The prices are down, and what about that Partizan Virtus game? Are we going to talk about it, or just about the ending, maybe?
First of all, we all agreed that the refs didn't decide the game in a way that, a lot of other stuff cost Partizan the game, in my eyes.
Mm-hmm.
The other thing I would mention, there was this moment with Frank Ntilikina. He got this crazy steal, but
Oh, the very last play?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was a horrible inbound play by Hackett.
That was ridiculous.
And there was a lot of discussions what Frank should have done with that moment.
There was
with
no
maybe
time to
4
think.
seconds left. Yeah, and I agree. Of course, in an ideal world, maybe he could have passed the ball to Lundberg, or to watch if somebody penetrates into the paint, maybe Brandon Davis. But we're talking about, chaotic play, 4 seconds left to play.
You don't expect that you're gonna get the ball like
and
that.
Frank he even almost traveled, actually, because it was weird positioning, let's say, and he took an open shot. He missed that, and I love the
Badly.
part that
He missed it badly. let's say.
airballed the
Airball.
shot, and loved the part that he stayed after the game for extra hour to take shots, and which shows a lot of dedication on his 3-point shooting, because that was the thing why he lost his place in the NBA. But so far, even in the preseason, he was shooting with a lot of confidence, and to start the season, he was 9 of 14. So if he improves that part of the game, if he stays consistent, I'm not expecting him to shoot over 50%, but at least 37, 40, he might be the next Exum Dozier, because he has all the other tools in defense and let's say being a floor general for his team. So that was my main positive take about Partizan and the approach of the player who missed that crucial shot.
And he, a few possessions back, also turned over the ball. Where Clyburn got the ball and then he got to the rim. That was his mistake as well.
There was actually 3.
Damn.
There was
Damn,
he allowed Clyburn to score when they were when Virtus were down by 1.
Yeah.
He was like playing really aggressive defense. Clyburn just beat him and met Brandon Davis at the rim, but he still scored. So 3 let's say unsuccessful plays by Ntilikina in the end, but with that shot I had no problem. I'm rewatching that right now, and we have to understand that the guy just did a 360 spin after a steal. It's 4 seconds left, complete chaos. He's wide open. He sees the rim. Like, that's a good shot. He's confident about it. he just misses it super badly, which I think exaggerates things a little bit because of how badly he missed that shot.
Yeah,
but you know, Lundberg is not really like, there is Isaac Bonga in the way of Lundberg. Brandon Davis is there wide open, just slight second after he releases the shot, but he just couldn't see Brandon Davis, I think, right before the shot because there is Will Clyburn in between two Partizan players. So I think it was a great shot, just unsuccessful. And about that non-call on Lundberg, do you remember, Donatas, last year we talked about this with Mike? End of game situations, one-on-one, what would you rather do? And I think I asked Mike, why are you selling for threes way more? And his answer was simple. They're not calling fouls on these situations.
And we kind of want that to be the case, I think, as basketball fans. We don't want free throws to decide the game. I feel like we want players with shots to decide the game.
But if it's a foul, it doesn't really matter. Of course, you want to see a nice shot off the dribble, probably. But, you know, then it's not basketball. Then it's just who makes a random shot from free.
And what do you think about, was there a foul?
Against Lundberg? Yeah, I think.
I thought the first contact was clearly there, but the second, I didn't see the second contact as well as Todd did. Warnick. I don't know.
To me, that bump is enough to call
it's enough
a
to
foul.
call the first time. Yeah, for sure.
So, you know, and I completely understand, you know, why Mike said it and why other players just shoot random threes. Although the coaches are always drive. You might get fouled called. 95% you don't get that foul called, actually. And
they were actually just unlucky. Okay, that play, they didn't get the foul call. Then they got the steal. They could have won it. But even a few possessions back, rewinded to like a minute left, Ife Lundberg as well was driving and he got fouled on a layup attempt. And the ball just kind of went in, spun around a few times, got out. Then he, instead of having a 2+1 situation, 3 points scored, he only made one free throw. So, you know, all these things add up. It was a bit unlucky for them as well at the end there.
And Virtus were playing like their best defensive lineup in the fourth quarter. Rajan Tucker finally got more time. There was Tucker, Hackett, Cordinia, three.
Amazing perimeter defender.
Yeah. Then you have Shengelia and Diouf, who can switch all. And Partizan just... This is what Partizan struggles, and at the same time, this is their strength because those guys that are on the court can play good defense, but in the offense, you score 8 points in the fourth quarter, and like scoring was not a problem for Partizan in the last years. I'm really interested to see if going forward with the season, they're going to add a player that can put the ball in the hoop.
I think that
ease.
One of those reserves are already on Partizan's bench.
Wayne
Washington.
Yeah,
that's what I was.
He's a reserve for the future. Also, Khalik Jones got injured in the middle of the fourth quarter, so they were lacking of him a lot. I was a little bit surprised that Sterling Brown played only 4 minutes when they were really lacking making shots or just some slashing in the offense. And Partizan scored only 8 points for Partizan in the fourth quarter. Virtus had 13. I mean, that was quite ugly game.
Brutal.
But watching Partizan for the second game day in a row, the same problem they had was against Maccabi as well. I mean, Maccabi got 19 offensive rebounds, Virtus 15th. And sometimes it feels like that they're being punished in the low post plays if they face such physical teams or teams with physical power forwards or centers like Shengelia, Clyburn, like others. And I think that they might need to upgrade their front line. One, guy who could make some power plays inside the paint to protect the rim, to push out those big guys from the paint because they're dead last in the defensive rebounds in the EuroLeague. They 15th in 2-point field goal percentage allowed, and their defensive rating, according to Analytics, is only 12th in the EuroLeague, although they were supposed to be the best defensive team. So those extra shots, extra opportunities that they're providing for their opponents, that does not help at all. So maybe they thought that Balša Koprivica will be that guy, that big guy inside the paint, but he's obviously not getting playing time, and it's not clear if he will be beneficial to the team.
To be honest, it's Brandon Davis that's surprising me with his rebounding numbers. Only 2 rebounds a game. Tyreek Jones is averaging 4 rebounds, 2 of them defensive rebounds, 2 of them offensive rebounds. So both of these guys are grabbing about together about 4 defensive rebounds a game when they're the main 2 frontline players.
Basically, but I think, you know, like Isaiah Mike is injured.
About Isaiah Mike.
And but at the same time, I'm not sure if he's going to solve that rebounding problem because now Partizan on the court, they have usually at least 2 forwards, sometimes even 3, and they play from the 2nd to 4th position. And it's good for the defensive versatility, but it's not good for the defensive rebounding. And I look at the minutes, like Sterling Brown, 29, Isaac Bonga, 34 minutes in this game. And these 2 guys basically cover the 3rd and 4th position because Pokuševski, 6 minutes, he's not ready for the EuroLeague. He was not ready for the NBA. To me, he plays scared when he is on the court. He sometimes makes a good move, does everything, and then misses a layup like he did in this game. And he's not some, you know, strong forward that can hold guys in the post. He's a great help side, weak side defender with his length, but that is not helping Partizan to get those rebounds, and that those second chances are just killing them because they can't score a lot of points, so they have to play a good defense.
Yeah, huge win for Virtus, and especially Luka Banki, another coach in a hot seat. And with 4 or 5 rounds in the EuroLeague, every EuroLeague team has a win. And by the way, Will Clyburn had a big game, dropped 27, his highest in a non-overtime game since October 22, 2021. And also he had a game-winning shot that led Virtus to their first win. So yeah, great to see Virtus winning games. And for the end of the podcast, we had this segment, right? About the most, let's say, overpriced or overrated players. At the beginning of the week, I put up a story about top 10 highest players in the EuroLeague, and I asked you.
Yeah.
Highest paid.
Not the highest on marijuana. Top 10 highest players in the EuroLeague.
I'm the highest in the room.
That would be a better top than this one. But anyways, top 10 contracts in the EuroLeague, and I asked you guys to pick your most overrated or overpriced guys, and if you have any other questions about others who are not on the list or whatever you're intrigued about the contracts, just let me know.
I can have questions about all the players' salaries?
Not all the players' salaries, but
not all?
Some of them.
Well, number one, this is a very insulting topic that you chose for URBONUS podcast, talking about other people's money and then calling them overrated.
Because players themselves, they're not talking about it as well, because they're all polite and friendly. Oh, this guy got what he deserves.
Players don't do that on social media, though, and not on YouTube.
Yeah, but that's the thing. They talk behind your back. At least we're doing publicly, so we have nothing to hide.
Okay, I'm just fucking around. Let's talk about it. Who is the most overrated guy in your eyes?
In this top 10?
Yeah. Do you see one that actually stands out? Because I was like looking at this list, I'm like, okay, well, I understand this salary. I understand this salary. Most of these guys came from the NBA, so I understand a lot of it. And it wasn't like, so surprising, you know, so overrated. I didn't have that feeling.
Really?
With any, yeah. Okay, go.
Okay,
I had it with the first name.
Oh, first, yeah. The first 2 names maybe you could think about.
So who are the first 2 names?
Willie Hernangomez, Darius Thompson, right?
Willie Hernangomez, like 2.3 million, and he earned 2.4 annually in the NBA. So talking about
before taxes,
talking about net salary that Donatas made this article all about. He earns in Europe around 1 million more than in the NBA. And to me, I'm sorry, but you know, the defensive numbers that he had last year, every team has a target on his back defensively. They just run the pick and rolls, and I don't think his defensive issues outweigh his offensive power. To me, 2.3 million, a top 10 paid EuroLeague player, just because you played in the NBA.
No, just because you are from Spain and you play for the national team.
You were the MVP of the Eurobasket.
Exactly.
This is the context for this contract. Especially if you want to bring guy from the NBA to Europe, you have to overpay him. That's the first thing. He's a Spanish player. There was this ugly offseason for them, getting rid of Sharas, of Miro, I think, as well.
Yes.
It was an ugly offseason, and you had to make some, popular moves as well. So they're bringing back the MVP of the Spanish national team in the Eurobasket. So you can kind of, advocate the price. And
but you just mentioned yourself that it's about not about his game, not about what he brings, but more about all the other things around that went right in that moment.
And that's the thing, because from the early beginning, I didn't understand this move fit-wise. And when we say that, oh, this guy is overpriced or overpaid, usually, I don't put the price tag on a player. To me, the price does not make him better. For example, you mentioned that he will earn $1 million more than the NBA. It doesn't mean that he became better player to earn that price.
Sure.
And usually that's about the teams that overprice players, and they do calculation mistakes or evaluation mistakes. So that was my problem from the beginning. Why you bring him in a team where you have Jan Vesely, who, okay, he had a slow start in Barca, but in the last 2 seasons, he's amazing. He's great. They also had
James Nagy.
Not Josh Nebo, but James Nagy. Another guy who deserved minutes, who could do some impact on the team if he was a backup for Vesely. But now you brought really Hernan Gomez. So to me, that was a tricky part at first. And Hernan Gomez had his own expectations. And we read those stories about Roger Grimau, and him having conflicts about his playing time, about his role, and Willy making some, turbulence inside the locker room. So, I don't know. To me, it was already, let's say, pre-planned problem. Willy's, not the price, but Willy's impact, his situation, and his expectations coming from the NBA environment.
Okay.
Who else?
So Darius Thompson, as I said, probably is not giving you the output for 2.3 million, right? In FS right now, obviously.
Let's say point guards that perform in Baskonia get paid. Get paid. And, 2 seasons in a row. Darius Thompson, Cody Miller-McIntyre, he's not in this list of top 10 paid players.
Not probably far off, is he?
He's getting good money in Belgrade.
Should be around 1.5, something like that. So that's huge. That's almost 3 times more when he
just when I think that Cody Miller-McIntyre earns like 1.5 million and Sylvain Francisco, what he's earning in Zalgiris.
500, 600,
550. But that's part of the process, because Francisco, you have to prove yourself and then you will get paid. That's how it goes in the EuroLeague.
Sure, right, but just great value deal? Not so much great value deal, I would say.
I just think with Darius Thompson, it's just hype was too fast. Basically, 1 season he performed, and then of course, he performed before that in the lower level. But with Baskonia, he performed for 1 season, and everyone, not everyone, but Anadolu Efes in particular, just overreacted, let's say.
But a lot of teams were offering him, right? There were a lot of suitors, I think.
The thing I heard about Darius Thompson's market that summer, 2 years ago, was that Milan wanted him badly because he could have been as a local player.
Right.
They really wanted him badly, but when Efes knew that they're going to lose Vasa and there weren't point guards in the market that they thought could be great additions, and we all remember we were also praising this move fit-wise. We thought that it's going to be a great fit. They just threw all the money they had to bring him instead of, what if Milan gets him, what we going to do? So they took this risk because, Darius proving himself in his rookie EuroLeague season, and they thought it's going to be a great addition next to Shane and Will. It didn't happen that way, but then, I'm having this question, if you pay him 2.3 million, you have to put him in a situation to kind of justify that money. But last season, he was benched at some point of the season. And this year, I also expected him having a little bit bigger role, but it doesn't happen this way, at least yet. I don't know. Although, okay, he's getting 27 minutes, and he's impact is actually getting bigger game by game. For instance, in this game against Milan, he had 17 points and 7 assists. Our 2 games were also in double digits, so he's getting better. But again, not as what 2.3 million player probably should provide. But I mean, I have a problem with EuroLeague teams and GMs. I think that, you have to take some steps in order. You cannot jump from 500 to 2 million, because Darius Thompson was a great point guard of a non-playoff team, in a team and in a situation, in a system where, he had keys of his team. Now you're going on a level where this team has expectations to perform you on a Final Four contender. So to expect him be that good or consistently as good on the same level is just, not delusional, but I mean, it's...
So what you're saying is they should get paid less.
There should be some steps. Yeah, there should be some steps. I mean, if there is FS offering him more than 2 million, I'm out of this race. But if the conversation is about 1.3, 1.5, okay, let's check, let's consider the situation. So, yeah, I think that teams could learn from this Darius Thompson case. You cannot get overhyped about one player. I'm not saying that Darius Thompson is a bad player. Maybe the system doesn't help him to show his all of the abilities.
Any other names that stand out to you?
I was looking at it like this: what impact did they have on the teams? And all the names have a significant impact in my eyes. I feel like Mario Hezonja, okay, he's earning 2.4 million and he's playing 20 minutes at most usually because of the rotations they have. It's not his problem. The time he gets to play, he performs in my eyes. Mirotic, we've been talking about him for a while. I mean, it's more of a situation thing for me with Nikola Mirotic.
Yeah, situational.
Kendrick Nunn, I think he proved his money, and same with Kostas Lukas, Kevin Punter. I mean, okay, maybe, I don't know actually. What do you think? He's playing for his money in Barcelona right now, the way he's performing? Because he's had some good games. He's had some.
I mean, the guy like Kevin Punter does not need to play as a 2.5 million player in October.
Yeah,
Barcelona's goal was to have him as a 2.5 million player in the playoffs or in the Final Four. And so far, okay, he had this first tough game in Kaunas, but later on he has improved significantly. So I have no doubts about him. And
my only thing is about Shane. 3.4 maybe, but I know it's for all the accomplishments he has with that team, with FS.
And he just played MVP level basketball last season, so in my eyes. In that team that wasn't great, he was playing great. The only guy that was making me watch FS games, really. Mike James, maybe a little underpaid.
That's what I'm saying. When you compare Mike and Shane, for example.
But it's by these margins we're talking about.
It's all about the situation and taxation that they are in. In Shane's case, in Turkey, you have more, let's say, bigger window to offer players more because of the taxation. Of course, the taxes has increased in Turkey because that's the thing with Sasha. I mean, in Greece, the tax rate is 20%. In Turkey now it's 40%. But, with Shane, he's a franchise player. He helps to recruit the other players. When he's healthy, he is great. It's all about, putting right fit around him. So
he has a great podcast.
Yeah, great podcast as well. So a lot of different benefits that you get from having Shane Larkin.
And hoping there is nothing serious.
Oh, yeah.
With Shane's injury from yesterday.
Yeah, because FS season, is on the line if Shane is not playing. So...
hoping it's nothing really. It doesn't get too long.
And now let's talk about top 4 contracts in BasketNews URBONUS co-hosts. So number 4, I come in at number 4, severely underpaid, I believe.
Okay.
100 euros per month. This is a horrible wage.
Wait, are you getting money from Ostoja or you're not involved in the deal?
No, maybe that's the problem, right?
Yeah,
and it didn't sign with Zvezda, right? That's
and now you're complaining about being underpaid. You need
Bro,
to
just get some contacts into those, you know,
Yeah,
Serbian
no.
Greek teams.
Brate.
But I do. You see,
I'm paid by two. I'm paid by Olympiacos and Partizan at the same time. So
Man, it feels like you made a deal with Alba
Headline.
Berlin. Come on, that's your problem. That's the problem with your business decisions. Just to add some additional information about those contracts, although you can find all this info on BasketNews.com, you know, top 10 highest paid EuroLeague players, I thought interesting comparisons between European and NBA salaries. So, for instance, the highest paid player's yearly salary in Europe would place him near the top 200 contracts in the NBA based on after-tax figures. But because also per basketball reference, the average annual salary for the NBA player during this season will be $12 million, which is equivalent to 11 million euros before taxes. But
who cares?
Since there is such a big gap between the top contracts in the NBA and minimal deals, the median NBA salary is a better measurement. And, you know, as you know, this is median, not meridian.
Yeah.
Median salary.
Meridian is a different thing.
Median salary.
Median is like
Meridian Sports. There's a big sports media outlet in Serbia.
That's who's paying you.
Yeah, exactly. We got exposed.
Oh, the truth.
So
Okay.
the median
God.
salary, which represents the middle point of all the salaries in the NBA, stands at nearly 6.2 millions, which is dollars, which is 5.7 million, but after taxes is 2.9. So we have
Yeah.
4 guys who are over this median salary in the NBA. So that's not bad, probably,
Yeah.
right? NBA players should be
Another-
aware of it, right? If we talk about
Another argument.
promotion of the product. So yeah.
Especially with the NBA, how they have the wages now that they cannot pay these average guys as much. I feel like just shoot your shot and get back to the NBA with a much bigger role, as some players have done.
Yeah, and you will enjoy fans and real pressure, not this wall. In LA.
That's it.
That's it.
Thanks for watching. Like, subscribe,
Subscribe.
join Beyond Plus on basketnews.com/plus.